It was 1925 when Florence Scovel Shinn stumbled upon something that modern medicine wouldn't confirm for another 80 years. She was lying in her bed in Manhattan, gazing out at the misty window, when she realized there was a gateway, an invisible gateway, that opened every single day at the exact same time, and 99% of people walked right through it without even knowing. It was those 5 minutes, right before you fall asleep. And for anyone who knew how to use them correctly, financial worries would become a thing of the past. Have you ever noticed how your mind feels a little strange right before you drift off? Not quite awake, not quite asleep? Florence discovered that in this state, the veil between your conscious and subconscious mind becomes as thin as silk, so thin that any word, any image, any feeling passes right through. No filters, no resistance, no blockages. And what happens? When you program your subconscious with surgical precision right before bed, it works for you for 8 uninterrupted hours, reorganizing memories, dissolving limiting beliefs, magnetizing opportunities. While you rest, your mind transforms into a manifestation powerhouse, operating at peak potential. Florence first tested this in 1925, after weeks of extreme financial hardship. She didn't have the money for next month's rent. The bills were piling up. The bill collectors were knocking at her door. But that night, instead of lying awake worrying as she usually did, she decided to try something different. She lay down in bed, closed her eyes, and in those 5 minutes before drifting off, she began repeating a specific affirmation, an incantation that she had crafted based on the Hermetic teachings she studied. The affirmation was simple, but loaded with power. I am grateful that infinite doors of prosperity are now opening for me. Wealth flows to me in unexpected and wonderful ways. It is done. She repeated this 7 times, slowly, feeling each and every word, visualizing golden doors opening, feeling the texture of the money in her hands. And then she fell asleep. The next morning, there was a knock at the door. It was a former client, someone Florence had helped years before. The woman was in tears. She said she had dreamt about Florence all night long and woke up with an uncontrollable urge to find her. She opened her purse and handed Florence an envelope. Inside was exactly the amount Florence needed for the rent, plus 30%. The woman said she couldn't explain it, but she just had to do it. Florence was stunned. This wasn't a coincidence. It was the affirmation. It was the sacred window of those 5 minutes. It was the door that opens when you know how to knock. But here's what she discovered later. And this changed everything. It wasn't just the affirmation that mattered. It was the state in which you spoke the affirmation. Florence realized that in those 5 minutes before sleep, you can't be anxious, you can't be desperate, you can't be doubting, because in that liminal state between wakefulness and sleep, emotion is the fuel, and anxiety breeds blockage, desperation breeds repulsion, doubt cancels the affirmation. So Florence developed a ritual, an exact 5-minute protocol that anyone could do, and she began teaching it to her students. The ritual had 3 phases. First phase, 1 minute of gratitude. You lie in bed and give thanks for 3 specific things that happened that day. They don't have to be big. It could be your morning coffee, someone's smile, the sun shining through the window. The goal isn't to be profound. It's to train your mind to enter a frequency of abundance. Second phase, 2 minutes of visualization. You close your eyes and imagine, in detail, your ideal financial life, but not in a vague way. You need to feel it, see it, hear it. What does your house smell like when wealth flows freely? What clothes are you wearing? Who is with you? What's it like to wake up without financial worries? Florence said, "Don't imagine it as an observer. Imagine it as the protagonist. You aren't watching a movie. You're living the scene." Third phase, 2 minutes of affirmation. Here you repeat, slowly and deliberately, the affirmation of prosperity. But with a golden rule, every word needs to be felt. There's no point in speaking it automatically. When you say, "I am grateful," you need to feel gratitude. When you say doors are opening, you need to see the doors. When you say, "It is done," you need to have the certainty of someone who has already received it. Florence did this for 30 consecutive days. And at the end of that month, she had manifested 7 new clients, a book contract, and an unexpected donation from a wealthy friend who said she had dreamt that Florence needed help. She wrote it all down in her diary, page after page, detailing each manifestation. And the conclusion was always the same. The 5 minutes before sleep were the master key. Because in that moment, the subconscious mind is completely receptive. No judgments, no filters, no resistance. But here's the part that no one tells you. There's a mistake that 99% of people make that sabotages the whole process. Florence discovered this the hard way. She had a student named Emily. Emily followed the ritual to the letter: gratitude, visualization, affirmation. Everything was perfect, but nothing happened. Week after week, Emily came back frustrated. "I do everything you teach, Florence, but my wealth isn't coming." Florence asked Emily to describe exactly what she did before bed. And that's when she discovered the problem. Emily did the ritual perfectly, but after the ritual, in the last few seconds before falling asleep, she thought, "Will it really work?" And that was it. That final doubt, that fearful thought in the last few seconds before sleep, erased all the work, because the subconscious records the last emotion, the last image, the last thought. And if the last thought is doubt, it's doubt that will marinate for 8 hours. Florence taught Emily the sealing technique. After making the affirmation, you take 3 deep breaths and say a final phrase. "It is sealed. It is done. I trust." And then you fall asleep immediately, without thinking about anything else, without questioning, without analyzing. You simply trust and sleep. Emily did this. In 4 days, she received a job offer that paid twice what she was earning. In 9 days, she found $200 inside an old book she had bought years ago. In 14 days, a distant relative passed away and left her an unexpected inheritance. Coincidence? Florence said that coincidence was God acting anonymously. But there's more. Florence discovered that there are 3 forbidden words that you should never use in the 5 minutes before sleep. First forbidden word, hope. When you say, "I hope wealth comes," you're sending a message of absence. Hope is the daughter of doubt. You don't hope for what you already have. Second forbidden word, need. When you say, "I need wealth," you're reinforcing lack. Need is code for scarcity. Florence taught, replace need with, "I am grateful." Instead of saying, "I need money," say, "I am grateful for the wealth flowing to me now." Third forbidden word, want. To want is to desire from a distance. It's admitting you don't have it. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered the right word was, "I choose," or I decree, or I accept. Because these words carry certainty, authority, power. She tested this with hundreds of students, and the results were always the same. Those who used hope, need, want took months to manifest. Those who used I am grateful, I decree, I accept manifested in days. Now comes the secret within the secret. Florence discovered that there's a specific time that supercharges the 5-minute ritual. It's not just any time before bed. It's when your body naturally starts producing melatonin. And that happens when you feel that first involuntary yawn, that heaviness in your eyelids, that gentle numbness. That is the moment. That is the gateway. And if you do the ritual exactly at that moment, the effectiveness multiplies by 10. Because you're surfing the chemical wave that leads to deep sleep. Your brain is releasing substances that open the doors of perception. The veil between worlds is at its thinnest. Florence called this the moment of mental twilight. And she said, when you feel the first yawn, drop everything and go to bed. That's your sacred window. It doesn't matter if it's 9 p.m. or midnight. When your body calls, you answer. She did this religiously, every day, without exception, and her life transformed completely. In 3 years, she went from a situation of near poverty to a life of peaceful abundance. She didn't become a millionaire, but she never worried about financial abundance again. Never had late bills again. Never felt that pit in her stomach when opening her wallet again. And the best part, she said that financial abundance came in increasingly strange and unexpected ways. One day, someone paid back a debt from 10 years ago that she didn't even remember anymore. Another day, she won a raffle she didn't even know she had entered. Another day, an old client came back and paid double for a service she had done years before. The universe moved. The doors opened. And it all started in the 5 minutes before sleep. But there's a deeper layer. Florence discovered that the ritual didn't just work for financial abundance. It worked for anything. Relationships, health, opportunities, creativity, protection. Because the subconscious doesn't distinguish areas. It simply executes the instructions it receives. So she started to vary the affirmations. One night she focused on prosperity, another night on health, another night on relationships, and everything started to flourish simultaneously. It was as if she had found the remote control of reality. But here's what she never said publicly, but wrote in private letters. The 5-minute ritual also worked to dissolve enmities. She had a student who was being persecuted by a former partner who had stolen money from him. The student was furious, wanted revenge, wanted justice. Florence taught a different affirmation to him. In the 5 minutes before going to sleep, he should say, I release and forgive Brian completely. He is free, and I am free. Divine good manifests for both of us now. The student hated the idea, but trusted Florence. He did the affirmation for 7 nights. On the 8th night, the former partner appeared at his house, crying. Said he couldn't live with the weight of guilt anymore. Returned all the stolen money with interest, and begged for forgiveness on his knees. The student was in shock. It wasn't possible, but it was. Because the 5 minutes before sleep reprogram not only your subconscious, they reprogram the energetic field around you. Florence called this the invisible web and said that everything is connected. When you change your frequency, you change the frequency of everyone around you. Now, the complete ritual. I'm going to give it to you exactly as Florence Scovel Shinn taught it. Step 1. lie down comfortably. No cell phone, no television, no distractions, just you and the silence. Florence said that the environment matters. If possible, light a white or yellow candle. The soft light helps to slow down the mind. Step 2. Take 7 deep breaths, slowly, counting mentally, inhaling through your nose, exhaling through your mouth. This signals to the body that it's time to slow down and prepares the groundwork for the gateway to open. Step 3. Start the minute of gratitude. Think of 3 things from the day. Small ones, specific ones. Feel the gratitude in your chest. Don't just think. Feel. Let the emotion spread through your body like a warm wave. Step 4. Visualization. Close your eyes and build, detail by detail, the scene of your ideal life. You're waking up. No alarm clock. No worries. Sunlight streams through the window. You look at your phone and see a notification. It's the bank. More money has arrived. You smile. Not in surprise, in recognition. As expected, you get up, put on an outfit that makes you feel powerful. Look in the mirror and see someone prosperous, blessed, magnetized. Continue building the scene, the breakfast, the people around you, the feeling of peace, of certainty, of abundance. Step 5. The affirmation. Open your mouth and whisper, slowly, 7 times. I am grateful that infinite doors of prosperity open now for me. Financial abundance flows to me in unexpected and wonderful ways. It is done. It is sealed. I trust. Feel each word. See each word transforming into golden energy coming out of your mouth and spreading through the room. Visualize doors of light opening around you. 7 doors, 1 for each repetition. Step 6. The sealing technique. Take 3 deep breaths and say the final phrase, "It is accomplished." And then sleep. Immediately, without thinking, without analyzing, without doubting, just trust and surrender. Florence said that if you do this for 21 consecutive days, your financial life will never be the same. Why? Because 21 days is the time the subconscious needs to install a new program. And once installed, it runs automatically, forever. But she warned, don't skip any day. If you skip, you have to start over from scratch, because consistency is what creates the groove in the mind. It's like digging a channel. Each night you deepen the channel, and when you get to the 21st day, the channel is so deep that the water of abundance flows on its own, without effort, without forcing, without pushing. Now, if this message touched something in you, there is a way to honor what you received here. Florence taught that gratitude opens gateways. And when you express gratitude for sacred knowledge, you multiply its power. If you feel that this video brought real value to your life, use the super thanks now. It's not about the money. It's about the energetic gesture. It's about saying to the universe, I recognize the value of this. And when you recognize value, the universe returns it to you double. Florence had a saying, what you honor multiplies, what you ignore dissipates. So, honor this moment, honor this revelation, and watch how the universe responds. And there's something crucial I need to tell you before we go any further. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that many people did the ritual perfectly, but blocked the results during the following day. How? Through what she called involuntary negative affirmations. You know, when you wake up, look at your bank balance and sigh, saying, I don't have any wealth. That's an affirmation. You know when you complain at lunch saying, "I'm always broke"? That's an affirmation. You know when you see something beautiful and think, "I'll never be able to afford that"? That's an affirmation. And these involuntary affirmations are just as powerful as the intentional affirmations you make before you sleep. The difference is, they work against you. Florence Scovel Shinn taught a technique she called mental vigilance. It was simple. Every time you caught yourself making a negative affirmation, you immediately corrected it, out loud, if possible. For example, you look at your account and think, "I don't have any wealth." Immediately, you correct, "Wealth flows to me now." You don't need to believe it 100%. You just need to correct it. Because with time, these corrections will reprogram your mind. She had a student who worked as a driver. Every day he drove through a wealthy neighborhood and thought, "I'll never live here." Florence Scovel Shinn told him to correct it every day. Every time he drove through the neighborhood, he should say out loud, "I choose prosperity. I deserve abundance." In the first few days, he felt ridiculous, but he continued. And after 40 days of doing this, one of the passengers he transported offered him a partnership in a business. In 18 months, he had moved to that very same neighborhood, not by coincidence, because he had reprogrammed the mental affirmation he repeated every day. And here is a truth that few know. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that there are times of the day where affirmations are more potent. She studied lunar cycles, biorhythms, and planetary alignments, and discovered 3 moments of the day where the veil between the conscious and subconscious becomes thinner. First moment, right upon waking before grabbing your phone. Those first 60 seconds of consciousness. Your brain is coming out of the theta state, which is the same state as deep hypnosis. If you make a 10-second affirmation in this moment, it penetrates directly into the subconscious. The affirmation can be short. "Today is a blessed day. Doors open. Financial abundance flows." Done. 10 seconds. But done with intention. Every day. Without skipping. Second moment. Right after lunch. Florence Scovel Shinn discovered that after eating, the body enters a slight state of relaxation. Digestion pulls energy to the stomach, and the brain slows down. In this moment, a 30-second affirmation has multiplied power. It could be, "I am grateful for the abundance that manifests now. Everything flows to me with ease." Third moment, obvious, the 5 minutes before sleeping. This is the most powerful. But combined with the other 2, you create a triad of reprogramming. Morning, afternoon, night. 3 daily affirmations. Short, powerful, consistent. Florence Scovel Shinn did this for 5 consecutive years, without skipping a day. And she said that after the 3rd year, her life became unrecognizable, not just financially, but in all aspects. Relationships, health, opportunities, synchronicities. Everything started to flow in a way that she called miraculous, but natural. And she made a comparison that I've never forgotten. She said, "Reprogramming the mind is like diverting the course of a river. In the beginning, you dig a small trench, and the water continues to flow in the old path, but you keep digging, every day, a little deeper. And there comes a moment when the water begins to flow through the new trench. First, a trickle, then a stream, then the entire river changes course. And when that happens, there's no going back. The water never returns to the old path. That's what happens when you use the 5 minutes before sleeping with consistency. You are digging the trench. And there comes a day when your whole life changes course and never goes back. But Florence Scovel Shinn also warned about periods of testing. She said that when you start to reprogram your subconscious, the universe tests you, not to punish you, but to see if you really believe. She called this the test of faith. Generally, it happens between day 7 and day 14 of the ritual. Something bad happens. An unexpected bill, a loss of wealth, a problem. And your mind screams, "See? It doesn't work. You're wasting your time." This is the critical moment. If you stop, you go back to square one. But if you continue, if you maintain the affirmation, even when everything seems to be falling apart, you break the barrier, and then everything changes. Florence Scovel Shinn had a student named Dorothy. Dorothy did the ritual for 9 days. On the 10th day, her car broke down, $1,000 to repair. She was devastated. Went to Florence's house crying. "This doesn't work, Florence. I'm worse than before." Florence Scovel Shinn looked her in the eye and said, "This is the test. Continue." Dorothy didn't want to, but she trusted Florence Scovel Shinn. She continued the ritual. On day 12, the mechanic called saying he had found the wrong problem. The actual repair would only cost $200. And on day 13, Dorothy won a raffle at work, $500. She profited. She continued the ritual, completed the 21 days, and then continued for another 69 days. Total, 90 days. At the end, she had manifested a promotion, a new relationship, and an unexpected inheritance from a distant aunt, all because she didn't give up on the day of the test. Now, there is a specific affirmation that Florence Scovel Shinn created for moments of financial emergency. She called it the open door affirmation and taught that it should be used only when really necessary, not on a whim, but for real need. The affirmation was like this: "God shows me the open door that no man can close. I walk through that door now. The wealth I need comes from unexpected and perfect ways. It is done." She said that this affirmation should be repeated 33 times in a row, out loud, with conviction, and then you let it go, without anxiety, without compulsive checking of the bank account. You simply trusted. Florence Scovel Shinn used this affirmation once when she needed to pay rent in 24 hours and didn't have the wealth. She did the affirmation at 8 in the morning. At 11 in the morning, there was a knock on the door. It was a lawyer, saying that she had been named in the will of someone she didn't even know. The person had attended a lecture by Florence Scovel Shinn years ago and was so touched that they left her $500 in the will, the exact amount of the rent, plus a little extra. Coincidence? Florence Scovel Shinn said, "When you are aligned, coincidences become the norm." But let's go even deeper, because there is a secret that Florence Scovel Shinn only revealed to her most advanced students. Florence Scovel Shinn had a secret she called the inverted affirmation. Most people, when they make affirmations for financial abundance, are trying to attract wealth. But Florence discovered something even more powerful: releasing wealth. She realized that so many people have subconscious blockages with money: guilt, fear, shame. And these blockages act like dams. The wealth wants to flow to you, but the dam prevents it, so she created a release affirmation, and she taught that before attracting wealth, you need to release resistances. The affirmation goes like this: I release all guilt related to money. I release all fear related to money. I release all shame related to money. I am free. Financial abundance is free to flow to me now. She asked her students to do this affirmation for 7 consecutive nights before starting any affirmations for attraction. And the results were astonishing. People who were stuck with the attraction affirmations completely unlocked with the release affirmation. Why? Because they were removing the dam first. And when the dam is removed, the river flows naturally, effortlessly. Florence had a student, let's call him Ethan, who came from a very poor family. He grew up hearing that money was evil, that rich people were going to hell, that prosperity was vanity. And even as an adult with a good job, he sabotaged everything. He overspent, lost money, made bad decisions. Florence identified the blockage immediately. It was ancestral guilt. Guilt that he had absorbed since childhood, so she told him to do the release affirmation for 9 nights. He resisted. He didn't think it would work. But he did it anyway. On the 10th night, he had a dream. He dreamt that he was carrying a giant backpack full of rocks, and a voice in the dream said, "You don't need to carry this anymore. Let it go." He woke up crying, and for the first time in his life, he felt light, without guilt, without fear. In 3 weeks, he received an unexpected promotion. In 6 weeks, an old investment that he thought was lost yielded a 400% return. In 9 weeks, he started his own business. Everything flowed because the dam had been removed. And here is what is most impressive. Florence discovered that the 5 minutes before sleep could also be used to receive messages, not just to send affirmations, but to listen for answers. She called this the nightly oracle, and the process was simple. Before going to sleep, you asked a specific question, something that was bothering you, a difficult decision, a financial uncertainty, anything. And then you said, "I ask, and I trust that the answer will come during my sleep." And then you went to sleep. Most of the time, the answer came in dreams, but sometimes it came in the form of an insight right upon waking, or a sudden thought during the next day, or even a person who appeared in your life, saying exactly what you needed to hear. Florence did this her whole life. Every time she had an important decision to make, she asked before going to sleep, and the answer always came. She said that the subconscious is connected to the universal intelligence, and when you ask a question with sincerity, the universe answers. But there's a rule. You cannot be anxious, waiting for the answer. You ask, trust, and forget. The answer comes at the right time, at the perfect moment, and always in a way that you recognize as truth. There is one last thing. Florence realized that many people did the 5-minute ritual, but during the day, they lived in a frequency of scarcity. They complained, they doubted, they worried, and that undid everything. So, she created what she called daytime anchoring points. These were small moments throughout the day where you reconnected with the frequency of the nightly affirmation. For example, every time you went to the restroom, you took a deep breath and repeated mentally, "Doors open." Every time you drank water, you said, "Financial abundance flows." Every time you saw a yellow car, you thought, "Divine signs guide me." It sounds silly, but Florence swore that these anchoring points kept the frequency high throughout the day. And when you got to bedtime, you would already be vibrating high. The 5-minute ritual would just be the final seal. She had a student, let's call her Jessica, who worked in a chaotic office, toxic boss, envious colleagues, heavy atmosphere. but Jessica used the anchoring points. Every time she went to the restroom, she repeated the affirmation. Every time she drank coffee, she felt gratitude. Every time she heard a car horn, she thought, "The universe is calling me to something greater." In 2 months, she was transferred to another branch of the company. Amazing boss, friendly colleagues, 30% higher salary. She didn't ask for a transfer. It simply happened because she kept the frequency high, even amidst the chaos. And that is the true power of the 5 minutes before sleep. It's not instant magic. It's deep reprogramming. It's you, clearing every day the negative frequencies of the day and installing every day the frequencies you want to live. Florence said, "Sleep is the great equalizer. It doesn't matter how bad your day was. It doesn't matter how many mistakes you made. In the 5 minutes before sleep, you have the chance to reset everything, to start over, to reprogram. And if you do this every day, without fail, for 90 days, you won't recognize your life because the compound effect acts silently, day after day, affirmation after affirmation, night after night. You are digging that channel, and when you realize it, your entire life is flowing in a completely new direction. Now it's up to you. Are you going to use this knowledge, or are you going to let it pass?" Florence said that information without action is just entertainment. And affirmations without consistency are just empty words. So tonight, when you go to sleep, remember this video. Take those sacred 5 minutes and do the ritual exactly as Florence Scovel Shinn taught. And tomorrow, do it again. And the day after tomorrow, again. And continue until day 21. And then until day 90. And one day, you will look back and realize everything has changed. Not in an explosive way, but in a solid way. Permanent, true, before you go. Tell me, what number came to your mind while you were watching this video? Don't think too much. Just write the number that came. It can be 3, 7, 11, 21. Any number. Write it in the comments, because that number is not random. It is a sign, a code from the universe telling you something. And when you write it, you activate the code. Florence always said, "The universe speaks in symbols, and numbers are the sacred language." So write it down. And observe what happens in the next few days. It is done. It is sealed. I am grateful.